Since the launch of our Perfect Palette 10 years ago, this color selection system has established Dunn-Edwards as the #1 choice of design professionals for specifying color solutions. We applied a three-pronged strategy when developing the original Perfect Palette. It would need to function flawlessly for color design, performance, and selection purposes. Over the years, it has done just that, offering a complete range of colors for designers and architects, while delivering colors with great fidelity, durability, and hide. All of this presented in a comprehensive set of easy-to-use color selection tools. From the moment it first launched, we knew that keeping the Perfect Palette perfect would be a process. That process began with designers and architects suggesting that Dunn-Edwards take the lead in establishing a historic color collection for the Southwest. We were happy to answer that call and set off on the assignment quite meticulously. We soon discovered that not only was it fascinating to chronicle the palette of the past, there was an interesting relationship between the colors of our historic Southwest and the new popular hues with which designers are creating recurring trends. To get the historic additions to our Perfect Palette just right, I worked extensively with David Wessel and the Architectural Resources Group in San Francisco.
Architectural Resources Group is a full-service architectural firm, and our focus has always been the preservation of historic resources and historic buildings. Sarah and I were literally up to our necks in over 700 possible contenders before arriving at the 142 definitive colors that represent the palette of the Southwestern architectural history.
Mark Woodman is past president of Color Marketing Group and sits on several international color forecasting panels. So as an expert in color forecasting and design, and with his past in the paint industry, felt his knowledge of color palette work and color trends would really lead us to a creation of a well-balanced professional color palette.
When Sarah brought me into the process, we discovered that working together, that new trending colors worked well to create a full palette that also blended with the historic colors. So we knew that just putting out colors saying, here's something new, isn't enough. It doesn't resonate with consumers and with people who just really, really love color and design. So we looked at a historical aspect. Where is color coming from? Where is it going? And how do they all work together?
Combining art with science, technology aids, including the use of color software to digitally analyze the color space, were critical to be certain the process was comprehensive and complete. We checked and rechecked all the final colors for new additions within our palette against the needs of designers and existing colors within competitor systems. And Mark Minnemeyer, Dunn-Edwards Vice President of Product Development and Quality Assurance, and his team of experts put the final technical stamp of approval on the whole color selection process.
Meeting our standards for fidelity, durability, and hide are the final requirements for any color to become part of the Dunn-Edwards Perfect Palette.
Ultimately, we arrived at an additional 300 then, now, and forever colors, 142 historically accurate, 158 popular and trending new colors. Dunn-Edwards Perfect Palette is now 300 colors more perfect.
Now, architects, designers, and color connoisseurs have an additional layer of excellence with the 300 then, now, and forever colors completing the Dunn-Edwards Perfect Palette.
I think it's wonderful that architects and designers will finally have a historic color palette created specifically for the Southwest.
Now that we had our 300 then, now, and forever colors, and consensus from our experts that they are perfect, it just became a matter of incorporating them seamlessly into our Perfect Palette color tool system. The system remains the most complete and easy-to-use color program with the addition of these 300 new colors. They're numbered DET 400 through DET 699, with the historic colors designated by an H in an octagon symbol. All 300 can easily be found behind their own section dividers in the Master Fan Deck and the Perfect Palette Color Album, within mini decks 9 and 10 of the Designer's Travel Kit. And finally, they really stand out on their own section at the right side of the new store display, where it now becomes easier than ever for anyone to specify historic colors with complete accuracy or choose from designer trending colors with total confidence.